Recently, I was able to pick up these two Gotham Steel pans from Costco. The big one is 12 inches and the other one is 10 inches. I've tested it with a magnet right here to make sure it'll work on this little stove. And today we're going to make some spicy meatballs. So this is the kind of stove that will not cook when the pan's not sitting on it, okay? So it won't stay hot. So I have about a pound of ground beef. I had it thawed, so I'm rifling through it to make sure there's no frozen spots. Let me go ahead and wash my hands. And then next we're going to put onion powder and garlic powder. This is 1 teaspoon of each. And then some peppers, chili pepper and cayenne. The cayenne is only half a teaspoon and the chili pepper is 1 teaspoon. And then a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of black pepper. I think this is a good blend for 1 pound of ground beef, but after you taste it, if you don't like it and you want it more salty or more spicy, then adjust accordingly, alright? But I really try to watch my salt that I take in. So this is 1 egg lightly beaten. I'm going to put the basil later, okay? Some chopped up onion. This is about, I'd say half of a medium onion. And then some cilantro that's washed but not picked from the stems. But I did chop them up, okay? Let me work everything in. If you don't like to touch the meat like this, go ahead and put on gloves, alright? But remember, oh, I want to show you the onion. See, it's not finely chopped, it's roughly chopped. If you don't like it like that, chop it finer or even grate the onion on a grater just to get that flavor in there, okay? Back to what I was saying about the gloves. When you wear gloves to handle food, you're the only one that is protected, alright? The other people around you are not protected because 10 to 1, you're not going to be washing your gloved hands. So always remember, if you're going to wear gloves, wash your hands as often as if you didn't have them on, okay? So I'm making the meatballs, I would say medium size. Let me grab a platter or a plate to put them on. Here's one. You can make them larger, of course. You can make them more tiny. But I think I like medium-sized meatballs because I can get away with eating 2. And that would be like a serving. So we don't have to overeat too much of this red meat. Of course, you can always do this with turkey, with ground turkey also. But I don't happen to have any of that in here. So we're doing ground beef. See? Medium. Roll them off perfectly. I don't put any breadcrumbs in my meatballs because they don't fall apart when I put that 1 egg. And I think the trick to that is don't mess with them too much when they're cooking, when they're trying to get brown. Don't mess around with them in the pan. So let me go ahead and move quickly so I can use up all this ground beef. And then now my pan is hot. Put in what can fit. You're supposed to put them in like a clock so you can know which ones to turn first, but I'll be honest with you, when I started to put the ones in the middle, I already got confused. So we're just gonna watch them. Okay. Leave them alone. Don't get tempted to start messing with them. I want to test that first one. I'm gonna try this bamboo tongs here, but it's not working. I can't like squeeze it close enough to grab the meatballs, and I don't want the meatball to fall apart, so just leave that alone. And I'm going to get 2 spoons instead. So let me go ahead and grab my 2 bamboo spoons here and just gently flip them. And if the meatballs are big, you might have to flip them on another side. They might not just have like side A and side B. You might have to go on, flip them again to make it all brown on all sides, okay? Just be careful when flipping them. Let me go ahead and put the rest that didn't fit, because now the meat is shrinking, so I can actually fit the rest. And it's just a matter of being patient. So now they're all brown, they've all been flipped over, but this is a lot of grease that we don't need. So let's pour off as much of this as we can. And what I do is I leave it in this bowl, set it aside, and when the grease hardens, I just scrape it into the trash. I scrape it into a trash bag and put it in the trash. I don't know what else to do with it, and I'm not going to pour it down my sink. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add some water. I had to turn up the temperature back again. It kind of dropped the minute I moved the pan off of the stove. Put some water. So this is about 3/4 of a cup to 1 cup of water. Don't drown it in the water, okay? It's just to make it cook a little while longer, to make sure that it's not pink on the inside. So this is the leftover onion that I had that I didn't chop up small to put inside the meat. Dump it in there with some leftovers cilantro. A lot of people ask me, why do I use basil and cilantro at the same time? But I like cilantro. I'm showing you that normally I would use tomato sauce or spaghetti sauce, or even some cornstarch to make like a brown gravy with the meatballs. But today I'm not going to do that because Joe doesn't like any of that stuff on the meatballs, and he wants to eat some of it with his rice. So instead I'm just going to leave it plain. I also have a recipe in my book, The Pantry Laid Bare, where you could put this cooked meatballs in the slow cooker and then add some grape jelly and some cocktail sauce and make it something so delicious as an appetizer. So just add a little bit more water. It's almost done, guys. Ground beef doesn't take too long to cook. You like my new shirt Joe made for me? I did all the cutting, I did all the designing, and Joe did all the sewing. Ever wanted to cook a turkey for Thanksgiving but you're too afraid to try? Pick up this book, guys, Beans and Rice Volume 2. I have the recipe right here on how to make a savory Belizean turkey. And these are pretty much done, guys, so let me go ahead and remove them from the pan. I didn't turn the stove off yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and remove them one at a time. The reason I didn't turn the stove off yet is because I love to hear the sizzle. Let me get my bowl. Let me go ahead and show you how it looks inside. So see, it's not pink. And you know what? I'm going to set this one aside, the 2 pieces, so we can taste that one. And then just go ahead and remove the rest from the pan, because I have to go outside and do the thumbnail picture before I lose the sunlight. I hate when it's daylight savings time because it's so dark in the morning and then it gets so dark in the evening so quickly. See how fast I'm moving? I've sped up the video. Just grab them one at a time. You have to make it pretty when you're trying to do the thumbnail picture, and some foods just don't look good in pictures, you know? Let me try to get some of the onion. I don't want all the grease. Just some of the onion. Let me stir it up in here. Right when I tell you guys I don't want all the grease, I stir up the onion in the grease, right? Drain some of the grease off, put the onion on top. I'm so glad that these pans work on this stove. Now let's go outside. Follow me, guys. I use this table that Joe made because it weathered really nicely. Now take a look. Beautiful, right? This is all the grease that we threw out at first. Don't throw this down the sink, alright? And then that's left over in the pan. And then these are the meatballs. Now normally I would put some tomato sauce on this to give it some color and some thickness and stuff, or maybe even spaghetti sauce, but Joe doesn't like spaghetti sauce or tomato sauce on anything. So if I'm going to share the meatballs with him, I have to leave it plain, and then he can do what he wants to do with it, like probably eat it with white rice. I'm going to eat it over veggie pasta with some spaghetti sauce. Joshua will probably eat it the same way, and you can also take some aside and put the grape jelly and the cocktail sauce in the slow cooker. You can do that with the Costco meatballs. That's in my book, The Pantry Laid Bare. And you can also do it with these savory meatballs because they're savory. So, let me taste before I move on. I'll show you the plate at the end, but I'll just taste now. Adjust for taste for you. The 1 teaspoon of salt was more than enough for me with this. And the spices are just enough to make it delicious. Because remember, if you're eating it with spaghetti sauce, that already has salt. Alright? So, I'd like you to go ahead, hit that like button if you like what I produce. Share the video, pick up the books, comment. Oh my god, there's a lot of stuff you have to do. You know, just watch the video. You don't have to do all that. I love y'all. Bye. Remember, guys, we are not buying this book. Because if you do, the only people that are making money from that book are my ex-distributor and Amazon. Pick up this book instead. This is my Belizean cookbook. It has 120 authentic Belizean dishes that I've done on the show already, but now you can have it in print so you can follow along and your dishes will come out perfect each time. Hot off the presses, this is my second cookbook, guys. It's called The Pantry Laid Bare, and I named it that because I laid everything on the line when I picked the recipes for this book, alright? 111 delicious dishes from basic ingredients. ingredients. To purchase, just check below on any of my videos and you'll see the different methods of payment and also the shipping. Thanks, guys.
Won't you come and try this warm delight? This is the Bare Pantry Show.